Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, Scent Magnifique. Today I'm going to be doing something a bit different, something that I've never done before on the channel, and I'm feeling some sort of nervous excitement about it. And that's because I'm going to be doing a first impressions video for the first time. So I always know up until this point what I'm going to be talking about on the channel, and I know the fragrances, I know how I feel about them, I have something I already want to say about them probably, even if I've not necessarily thought about it beforehand. But today I'm going to be smelling Chanel number 5 for the first time ever. And it's kind of a bit incredible that I've got to this point in my fragrance journey, if you like, without having ever smelt this fragrance because it's so iconic and it's so popular. I'm aware that it's December. A lot of people will be receiving this as Christmas gifts. It's a very popular Christmas gift. I grew up my whole life watching adverts for Chanel number 5 around Christmas. And that was when, so I got the request to do a first impressions video a few weeks ago. And I kind of thought I just wouldn't know what to do because I kind of feel like I've smelt everything I want to smell. And it wasn't until this weekend that it kind of occurred to me, wow, Chanel number 5, I've never smelt it. I've literally never smelt it. I do not know what it smells like. And I proceeded to do a little bit of research on it. And the scent pyramid in particular was what really picked up my attention. And it reminded me of Diptyque's number 34 in that it looks like there's just like a kind of everything but the kitchen sink list of notes. But in fact, there's actually quite a kind of ordered structure to it, being that in the case of Chanel number 5, in the top notes, you've got citruses, in the mid notes, you've got florals, and in the base notes, you've got resins or woody notes. So there are lots of notes, but they're structured in that way. So there's a kind of order to it, and that's why I'm really curious to smell it. Been reading reviews, and yeah, I heard very conflicting reviews. So I've heard lots of people saying that it smells very floral. Some people say they can't pick up on the floral notes, and therefore I'm really, as I say, nervous, excited to share this with you. I'm conscious that it's a very loved fragrance by a lot of people. So I mean, fragrances can be polarizing. This one in particular, I've read a lot of polarizing reviews about it, so I know that it could go either way. So anyway, I have been and I have bought a small bottle of Chanel number 5 just for this video. I'm hoping I'm going to love it and I'm going to hold on to it afterwards. Um, Obviously, just to bear in mind that this is going to be from a dual perspective, right? So I'm going to be reacting to this from the point of view of a man smelling Chanel number 5 for the first time, but also from the point of view of somebody who loves fragrance, who knows quite a lot about fragrance, and I mean, is not scared to wear a female fragrance myself. So yeah, I'm going to be trying to kind of give you a sort of dual perspective on it. So both for women who want to know what this smells like to a man, and also for men who, yeah, just curious about what it would be like for themselves. Because as I say, the notes themselves individually, I love every single note in this fragrance. In particular, they've got neroli in the top. So neroli is something that I'm not used to having smelling in the top. It's obviously got patchouli and vetiver in the base, my favorite notes, and it's got some rose as well, which is another favorite note. So it's kind of got everything that I would love in a perfume. And as I say, for that reason, it's kind of really bizarre that I've never smelt it up until this point. So anyway, let's get into it. Um, Nervous. Okay, so um, I think, yeah, I kind of do know what it looks like. It's a very beautiful bottle, very classic, obviously. We're all familiar, I think, with this image. As I say, it's heavily advertised around Christmas time. There's been lots of famous advertising campaigns for this fragrance. I think this year it's Margot Robbie is doing it. Previous years it's been Nicole Kidman. Yeah, it's a long running tradition of famous actresses selling this fragrance. Chanel number 5. Okay, so I'm going to spray it in the air first, um, just to get. Wow. Okay. Okay. Right. Let me. Okay. So, um, first, first blast. Um, there has been a lot of talk online about this smelling like a grandma perfume. Okay, and from a guy's point of view and from somebody my age's point of view, I know what they mean when they say that, right? And it's because the perfumes of this era are a kind of cacophony of notes, if you like, and it's kind of the notes are indiscernible. And I think modern day perfumery tends to be sort of individual notes, and or there's more emphasis on a single note, much in the way that kind of like, I don't know, skincare has gone, that it's been much more about sort of specific ingredients rather than a kind of whole load of them. And this one, yeah, it's funny because I don't smell any of this. I didn't get any of the citrus. I didn't get any of the neroli up front. I get a lot. I get a lot happening at once, and it's very difficult to discern, as I say, between what's going on. Um, it's like I don't get white floral either. I don't get floral. And maybe I'm getting a little bit of, because it's maybe the note that I'm least used to, but I actually quite like, and that's Lily of the Valley. So that's one of the ones in the mid note. So that's one I'm not used to. So I am detecting that. It does have this kind of luxury soap smell that they talk about. Um, I'm going to do it on the other side just in case I start to go a bit nose blind. So nose blind is when you this at some point you just can't smell the fragrance anymore. So it's almost like, yeah. I just want to keep smelling the top notes for a moment. So it's one of these ones that the more you smell it, the better it smells, and it's got a kind of narcotic experience to it, which is what I love in perfumery. So, and it's kind of when something magical happens, when the notes mix together, they blend together in a way in which the sum is greater. The total is the sum is great. You know what I'm trying to say. The overall impact is greater than the sum of the individual notes. So, and I'm kind of, yeah. So my nobody in my family wore this. You know what I mean? So it's not actually familiar. Interestingly, wow, it's quite. I think it's quite unisex. I think it's quite unisex. And I wasn't expecting that. But I have to say that when it first came out the bottle, the first spray, I did think the instant reaction was too feminine, too mature. And the longer it sits on the skin, so I guess this is the difference between the, you know what I mean, that sort of male reaction to it, and then, you know what I mean, what I'd like to think is a more refined nose at this point. It's like, as I say, I think for me, the Lily of the Valley is playing a sort of significant role in it, and it's just masterfully blended. I think that's the sort of predominant reaction to it, is that it's um, what perfumery is supposed to do, in that it takes, as I say, individual notes and it creates something sort of masterful with those individual notes. And as I say, the only thing I can pick out right now is the Lily of the Valley. I suspect that'll change as it dries down. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave it 30 minutes and I'm going to come back and I'm going to tell you how it evolves. Okay, so I've given it some time to settle. And so I think my biggest takeaway from this fragrance is, I'm going to say it now, Chanel number 5 is a unisex fragrance. Okay, um, I've never heard anyone else, or I've maybe read one review where somebody said that, but I actually think this is a unisex fragrance. And I think what I liked, so what I was nervous about was that it's got peach as one of the top notes, and I think peach is was the only note within the sort of scent pyramid that I could um, see that I was just like, oh, peach. I'm not sure about peach, but it's interesting because, as I say, the only thing that was discernible was the Lily of the Valley, and the what really kind of made it a bit, I don't know, sort of like kind of brought it down a bit, is that it's got patchouli and it's got vetiver in the base, and everyone knows I love vetiver. And there was something about the way it settled that just made me feel really happy. And that was so unexpected because I was, as I sprayed it, I was really nervous because I'm like, oh my god, there's so many people just love this, and I know that how I feel when I'm watching a fragrance review about something that I love, and there is this moment where I'm like, oh no, they're gonna destroy or criticize this fragrance that I love so much. So I felt so happy that I could understand why everyone loves this so much, why it's such a loved fragrance, and as I say, the difference for me, or the reason it's so timeless, and the reason it's lasted, or it's been popular for so long, is that it's masterfully blended, and as it dried down, it just is so sophisticated. Like it just, I think when it first came out, as I say, like I had to get over that mature female idea that I had in my head. And I want to make a point about that because I think this idea of something smelling like a grandma fragrance is kind of completely outdated and completely pointless at this point, because I actually don't mind smelling like a mature woman, and I don't see it as I don't see why it should be used as a sort of derogatory statement. Um, I find it I do find it mature. You know what I mean? I don't think a young person might have developed enough of a nose yet to know why this is so amazing. But and that's why I think that like it's fragrance is one of these things that you can kind of your love of it will grow as you get older. That's definitely been my experience. And yeah, I did some Iris as well. Yeah, I'm kind of curious to get the reaction from my partner, from people around me, and how they perceive it on me, especially when it's coming off of uh, a man's skin. But I was kind of curious that I was a bit worried that I was going to give it away, that I was just going to buy it and then yeah. So the I don't like the first spray as much as I like the way it kind of it kind of dries down. The dry down is heavenly. It's not that I don't like the opening of it. I just prefer it much more when it kind of settles down, and that's when those kind of like base notes, sandalwood, patchouli, oak moss, vetiver, kind of really come into play and give some weight to the fragrance. So it's not just this kind of aldehydic floral perfume. There is actually this kind of progression, which is why, as I say, I was drawn to it, because it reminds me of the scent pyramid of Diptyque number 34 Eau de Parfum, in that there's all of these notes, but there's this kind of clear structure, there's a clear logic to the notes. And that was what was so beautiful about the evolution of it, is that I can almost like experience that kind of, you know what I mean, citrus, floral, woody base notes. So, wow, that felt like a real experience. I'm so looking forward to people's reactions to, well, the fact that I've done a video on Chanel number five. It's a bit left field for me on my channel, and maybe whether, yeah, this is your favorite fragrance. Even if you don't like it, it would be interesting to know why. And yeah, please subscribe if you want more content of this type. Thanks, and see you next time.